Let's see how this works. Okay, everyone. Three viewers on the start. We're getting notifications saying I'm live. Yep, I'm getting notifications saying I'm live. I am live, right? Yeah, looks like I'm live. Cool. This new YouTube thing is interesting, but there's a lot more important things. So let's quickly jump into a job, and then I'll discuss the more important things. Yeah, that seems like a nice lengthy one to have the initial discussion to everything. Okay. So, as you all most likely read, this is going to be my last stream for a while. For some obvious reasons. I'll give you them as they go on. Ooh, that's a new truck. We haven't carried one of these loads ever. Interesting. Goodbye, lonely Yeti man. So YouTube's policy makes gaming videos quite difficult to follow laws, I guess. Or they don't have clear guidance on how to follow the laws. So you all may or may not have followed, depending on how many of who you watch on YouTube and all that, but YouTube recently got into a big issue with a U.S. law called COPPA, C-O-O-P-A, or C-O-P-P-A, there you go. And basically what they had to do is they have to now make it where any videos on there has to be recognized as childlike or child material, which is fine. Like that's fine. Like you don't want non-child materials to be shown to children. That would be bad. But the issue comes in of the guidelines kind of just give you a very rough estimate on, hey, you make video games. Sure, your audience may not be children, but the content you make is child desired content, video games. So you might have to put it as child. And I thought I was going to get through this pretty quickly, because I thought it was going to be a very easy answer of, I do video games, but the video games I target are not children video games. Like, we're not playing Sesame Street Driving Simulator right now. We're playing American Truck Driver Simulator, and I'm crossing that line a little too far, but hey. So I was like, okay, I'll just mark mine as not kids friendly and I'll be fine. Recently, I was watching an analyzation of this law and everything to figure out all the effects and make sure I'm gonna be good for YouTube. And basically what the person said, this is why you don't get distracted driving, but what the person basically said was, it's not if you are disobeying the law on like showing non-adult or non-kid things to kids. It's actually if you're disobeying the law in either direction, which means if I mark, let's say, this video as kid friendly, okay? Awesome. I'm not gonna say any cuss words. I'm not really doing anything that's wouldn't be appropriate to kids. Fine. But let's say I mark this as not kid friendly, because I'm not expecting under age of 12 to watch this video. Now, I could get hit with a fine because somebody at the FTC, the Federal something communication organization for the US government, could go, we reviewed your video and we think it's kids friendly. And because you weren't properly sourcing everything, here's a fine to teach you how to be better. And I'm fine with that. Because, of course, there's going to be people who try to skate the system and who are going to do bad things to do bad things. However, because they're doing bad things to do bad things, I think it's not well justified yet, which is why this isn't a goodbye forever. This is a hopefully temporary goodbye. I'm hoping by February next year it'll all be sorted out. Wow, this truck has a slow acceleration. And I'm going over the speed limit, but it's fine. Because right now the definition, how it's written, is basically kind of loose and up in the air, and no one wants to sit back and really define it. I hate driving at night. And because it's loose and it's up in the air, and I could get in trouble for either side being wrong, I'm just going to take the month and a half to watch all my YouTube videos. So, congratulations on that, YouTube. You've made me go through and watch all my YouTube videos. And properly, oh no, where's the accent? Okay, we need to get it over. Hopefully I'm not cutting anyone off. Ooh, what happened? Ooh! Whoop! Well, and this is why you don't blindside a watch. I can't even view it. Whoa. Okay. We have an accident here. I guess I'm gonna have to push them out of the way. Oh, there they go. So that's why you don't blindside watch when you're driving. Always pay attention to the car in front of you, not the car beside you. Can I come on? There we go. And we're gonna go over to this side real quick. So yeah, that's the general gist of it. Hopefully by February it will all be sorted out and everyone will be fine. But right now, with the maximum fine being like $45,000, and me not having YouTube and me knowing, because this is a new law, the first few people they're punished, they're going to go through all their YouTube channel and get every video. I want to make sure I'm not in that group. Because it's $45,000 per video, which to me is a little excessive. To me, that's good for like second, third time offense, but I don't make laws here. I just try to follow them as I speed down the highway. So yeah, that's the general aspects of everything, so that you're all aware. Again, nothing too bad should happen. It's just going to be a winter break, kind of like last year, where I go off YouTube for a little while, resettle myself, and hopefully come back with better content. Which I think I did last year pretty well. Sadly, there's not going to be a video on statistics, because again, who's allowed to watch that? Is that kid friendly? Is that not? And before everyone in the comments go, well, you could just mark all your stuff kid friendly because you don't do a lot of cussing and all that stuff, and just if you cuss or any of that stuff, mark it up as appropriate. And that would be a fine solution, and I would be 100% on board with that. However, if you mark it kids friendly, you lose the ability to have comments. Ooh. Trying to read my phone. Where's traveled? Oh, I have no clue what that alarm is, but there's going to be an alarm that goes off in 10 minutes after the stream, which is going to be fun. Okay. So, yeah, that's the general stuff on that. If you have any questions, I can try to help as best I can. Right now, there is no plans of alternative content. I have no plans on creating anything really out there to get word out. The best I guess you could get is most likely the Black and One Twitch channel would be most likely where I'd be doing any streaming with the Black and One. But for right now, that's the situation. That's that. I wish I could spin some happy news. I guess a little bit of happy news is I'll have new content. I'll have time to develop new content and new ways of direction. Maybe even get a little bit better of a streaming thing because I was lacking it on the last few weeks. But I don't know. I wish this wasn't the video. I wish this was just another happy Sunday night video cut into the upcoming week, Thanksgiving for the US and stuff like that, but sadly that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like we are hitting another roadblock in YouTube, and at least with the price point and the likelihood of legal actions, I'm not willing to put my money on that bet. I'd much rather have... Okay, 45 gunner. I'd much rather have a nice fun stream. I had some ideas for streams and other things coming up, but sadly those are going to have to be put on hold. The great thing is, if I do come back, I'll most likely have bought my video capture card, which means I can stream other games on like the Switch and stuff with an easier way of doing it, which that'd be nice because there's a few games on the Switch that I would like to stream, but at the same time, yeah, I don't really know what else you all want to talk about. I kind of wanted this stream to be kind of loose so that you all get your answers, so that come Monday, Friday, and Sunday for the rest of these months, everyone has clear expectations on what's going on. Where's Solegna? Where's the content? But for now, we're just gonna continue driving on through. Just keep trucking along. We're gonna keep these wheels spinning, and hopefully at the end, we'll reach the end where it'll be easy to see what the future holds. But until we can get to that point, it's quite hard to properly know what is going to come around the bend. I hope that certain projects will pan out. I'm starting to look into 3D game design. I have an AI system I've been working on that I was hoping to show you guys within the coming months, but again, most likely won't be able to. Of course, there's other issues with that anyways. Me and the Black One wanted to do some competition streams as we figured out how to get it working properly and all that. So many things that this kind of puts a damper to. But I guess the good thing is, I know you guys are going to be here because I know I've gone through many issues like this before. Some of you are very old members who've been here when I used to do like 10-minute videos every day for a week, and have we changed since then? There's been so many different developments and stuff. I don't think any of you came from the original 5 videos on my channel. Do not go back and watch those. Oh yeah, it's also 10 year. It's nearing my 10-year anniversary. I think next year would have been my 10-year. So, yeah, it's been a good decade. I got all the way through college with you guys. Starting my adult life now. It's just gonna be a huge change of pace. It's not something I wanted this way, but it is what it's going to be. So I hope you all enjoy the next 2 hours. We'll make this like a pseudo Q&A. If you have any questions you want answered about the process or about me in general, definitely hit me up. If for whatever reason I'm not going back to YouTube and I have some other platform I'm going to start working on, I will make a quick, most likely less than 30-second update video on that progress and that information as needed. So we're going to transfer over here. We're going to get off on this exit. Hopefully have a nice smooth ride home. Hello, Home Depot. Hello, Vault-Tec. I'm actually so happy that with all the updates this game has had since I've last played it, that a majority of my mods survived. That's actually pretty nice. Lamont. I am going over the speed limit. But hey, we're good. Everything's good. Alright, I can't do that. Whoops. Green means go, you guys. Thank you. Alright, let's see. Since we're at a traffic light, whoopsies, I just paused the game. Well, that isn't what I wanted to do. That's chat rate. That's playback. Okay. It'd be really nice if they kept that combined, but hey. There you go. How do I unpause it? There we go. I'm also playing with YouTube's new streaming thing. Go. I believe we might be good with the bus, so I'm gonna pull into the other lane. Okay. And we're good to go. Interesting. That's the other thing it doesn't seem to be keeping track of. That would be fun for me to keep track of on my own. Tells me the time down there, so I guess I just use that. Whoopsie! Speeding ticket. That's the cop that bought me. Go. Funny thing is, I'm actually planning a trip where I'm going to be driving a lot. So I'm about to actually do this in real life. That's gonna be fun. Luckily, I'm trying to avoid driving at night. Just because it gets very boring and tedious very quickly. As you all know. Looks like we got some traffic up here. Primarily because it looks... Nope, that's just a guy trying to get on the highway. Just drop it down because the police is right beside us. Not good to speed with the police right beside you. Fancy lads. I think that's a Fallout reference. I'm pretty sure that's a Fallout reference. I think I'll be able to go around this truck next time I pick up the speed. Ooh, or not. We'll go down to a 1 lane. Lovely. Nope. I don't have the speed for that. There's like 8 trucks ahead of him. I can't pass him. Pass them. Again, once I get up to speed and everything, but... There's an unexpected route when you're manually adjusting, you're strongly recommended. Ew, I've never gotten that notice before. Uh-oh. We're getting pushed off. What's going on? Hopefully, this isn't gonna be that big of a detour. Hopefully. Looks like we just have to catch the roundabout one. And hope that everything will be okay. Oh, look at that blue. That's a lovely blue. probably blue to be waking up to. Okay, let's hope we can go right through this. Nope. I don't know what it is, but it's something happening somewhere. This entire town seems to be barricaded off from me. We're actually gonna go around this truck. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh my gosh. I hope you guys saw that because that was insane. So, we're gonna actually pull off. We're gonna head back there to that nap central. Take a quick nap. I'm gonna see about navigating us around this town. Motel. Okay. Actually, can I? Let's see if I can find the nap thing. Oh. There we go. Okay, so it's daytime. Now let's look at this world map and see where we are. So right now it's not going to let us go through Boston. But we have to get across. So how about if we make a detour down there. It gives us some new areas to go through, and it hits our destination. So I think we're going to go with that. Cool. Okay, there we go. So now we just got to get out of this motel area. Make sure I hit the motel sign. Yep, I should be good now. Okay, we just gotta get out of this way. There we go. And it's daytime, so you know what that means? We get to see everything. Of course, guess what we're gonna have to do? We still have 12 hours on this journey still. And traffic doesn't seem to be wanting to let up at all. You know what happened? Now that we took a nap, I bet we could actually go through the town. I kind of want to see if we can. I don't think traffic's gonna let up for me. I am not gonna wait for all this traffic to go through. I am going to force my way into this intersection. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, traffic. I just want to know. Nope, they're still pushing people off. I can't see a real reason. Woo, that was completely not how you merge onto a highway, but hey. The Monkey King. It's almost 13-hour drive still. Or, not almost. There's actually a calculator. Yep, 13 hours, 21 minutes. You're not supposed to be using that lane, little blue car. That's a truck slow lane. Neither are you supposed to be using that lane, little red car. Oh, sorry. Hello, Bumblebee. Can you... hit the gas, thank you. Oh my gosh. Steeper is slowing us down there. It's actually not Stables, it's Kenworth. But still, it's slowing us down. Lumberjack. So that is pretty much that. We are speeding though. I don't want to turn in yet. I kind of like the middle lane right now. What does that sign say? Love? Just an advertisement for love. Actually, we're gonna go to the outer lane. I wonder if anyone actually likes being in the middle lane. I think we're coming up onto a town. Or we're gonna score by it, one or the other. Not bad at all. Nice little res buildings. Nice little industrial park. No, we're near San Diego. San Diego. whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, that's not good. That doesn't happen in real life. I believe this is the road we need to be on now. I believe this is the road. Yep, it seems to be the right road. You have to wait for me. Oh, I have to go here. Dang it. Wait stations are the worst. I think I'm loaded. Okay, yeah, I believe I'm loaded. Hello, new person. Yay! Yep, I'm loaded. 76,000? Oh, yeah. I just wondered if that was loaded. Of course I'm loaded. Woo. And now I don't know my left from my right. I don't think I'm qualified to drive this. I'm pretty sure that's like how you get your license revoked immediately, is at the wait station be like, I don't know which way to go, into the guardrail. Okay. Yep, call. Come on, call. Go through. Thank you. Bypass Budweiser here, or Bud Light here, not Budweiser. Now we're hitting nighttime again. Again, don't like night driving, but hey. Okay. And again, if any of you have any questions, concerns about me leaving, just ask. If you don't know exactly why, I can explain again, or you can watch the first 30 minutes of this video. Hopefully I'll be back. That's the hope. I wonder if you took an average rating of speeders, or even better, I need to stop damaging the cabin. If you took the average rate of speeding tickets and stuff, I wonder if you'd see an increase in speeding during nighttime. Because half of me think you would, primarily just because people would want to get home sooner. Visit service. Why is... It's not that badly damaged. Come on. Visit service. we're seeing a halfway point for this stream. Oh my gosh, we still have an entire day to go through. Do we? No, we only have 9 hours, so just the rest of tonight. No, I think we have an entire... No, we'll be getting there in the morning. This might be the longest one I've done ever in this game. I don't think I've ever had one where I've actually contemplated sleeping 2 times in a row. I did not know what was up ahead. It was so dark, all I saw was lights, and I was like, oh no, we were supposed to get off on that exit, weren't we? Yeah, we're good. Now, personally, if I was driving, I would want my headlights to shine a little bit further than like 4 to 5 line marks. I'd personally like my headlights to stop where that one truck is right now in front of us. Now, we're gonna have to look for a gas station soon. Don't know if I want to try take the next exit to get it. But we kind of have to. So we're gonna just take this next exit to get gas. We even get this truck repaired, but since it's not mine, nope. Where are you going? You're turning. Okay, so we're good there. Colorado River. This would be a lovely place to see it in the daytime. Chevron. And I lived on the west side of the coast in the United States. Chevron was quite a common occurrence. Okay, let's try to do this. Okay. $3.02 per gallon. I'm topping this guy off. Ooh, $534. That's insane. Okay, I think we're good to go. Now it depends on what that white car is going to do. Hey, 18-wheeler, thank you for stopping. Back on the road again. Back in California. Back to heading east. We're in the Pacific time zone. PTF. Or PTZ. I don't actually know what the abbreviation for Pacific time zone is anymore. I think there's a river down here that if it was during the daytime we could see. Arizona now! We could have actually driven through the town. That would have been nice to know. Truck stop. Just pushing on through here. Whew, almost lost it there. Just gotta stay on the road. This road's actually a fast one too. Gas station. I don't know why I shift lanes, but sure, we're keeping this lane then. Red van. I think we're just gonna try to punch through the night, not take any rest. I remember back when I worked in college, there was actually a rest stop that I used to stop at because I had a 1-hour commute to and from work. Man, I could vaguely remember exactly how to pull in and out of that rest stop. That's how many times I stopped there. And it's been years now. There were 2 rest stops, one on each side that I would stop in depending on what I needed to get done that day on the commute. One was my ATM and the other was my sleep. Or not my sleep, but I don't know why I stopped there so often. Now that I think about it, I'm like, why did I stop there so often? Because it didn't really have an impact because it was right in front of my exit before I'd get home. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head why I stopped there. I remember all the pouring in, pouring out, and all that stuff. But I don't recall what I did over there. Because literally I had 10 minutes until I'd be home, so... I know the other one I would go there to use the ATM quite often. Yeah, I don't know exactly why I stopped there, though. My mind's just not letting me access that. But again, I really don't like night driving. Not my preferred way of driving. It's just... It tricks you. Your eyes play games with you. Even virtually, it's distracting. I'm gonna actually have to make a turn here. Right here. Well, that was actually quite simple. See, I don't know what lane. Okay, that guy's in my lane. There's a third lane I can take. Now he gets out of my lane, of course. And now I can't see anything beyond 3 lines ahead of me. Which is completely messing with my mind. I don't know where to go. This is so hard for me to process mentally. Oh my gosh. Mental delusions. And the screen is slightly dirty, so it looks like there's something like on the road right now. I'm just like, ah, this is not the best. Not the best enjoyment. Nope, I needed to turn. As I was going straight. I'm also speeding. All the things I do wrong. There's a BP. I don't think I've ever seen a sign that said downtown. I don't think I've ever seen one. Except maybe in New York? Maybe in New York City I saw one or two. Oh, for a second I thought that was a truck. There's a pile of bushes. Oh, discovered Tucson. Yeah, this must be the longest journey I've ever done. And back tonight. The great thing is, I think I'm the only one on this road. Actually, no, I see a couple of taillights up ahead. Almost the only one on this road. What's gonna happen if I get tired, I have no clue, but we're getting there. Yep, there's a truck up ahead. I really dislike night. I don't know which lane you are in. I don't know which lane you are in. Ooh, that'd be a fun test. Again, cool things I have ideas for when I can't stream anymore. So, hopefully, I'll be able to put up, I'll be able to put up like hopefully I'll be able to stream again in like a month or two. So, fun fact, I have prescription glasses, and I was like, I wonder what it would be like to just drive. Maybe that's what we're doing in the end of this, is drive without my prescription glasses on. You see how better or worse I am? Definitely not driving this far again. I don't know if I was supposed to take that or not. No. San Simon. Another new town. Oh, my guy's getting tired. That's not good. It's really not good when the thing beside you is an explosive on wheels. I guess the good thing is we're going to have about over 2 hours left of this. The bad thing is, unlike before, I can't go to full speed because everyone around me is deciding to be cautious. New Mexico. New dust storms are in New Mexico. Okay, guy, come on, stay awake. New train. Sadly, no train was going by. Uh-oh. I'm in red zone. There's another wait station coming up. Somehow we gained weight. I'm almost certain we gained weight. Really? That was a BS speeding ticket we just got. I was merging onto the highway. I was picking up speed for the highway. Uh-oh. I don't know where I need to go here. I'm guessing I need to go this way. 'Cause not good map design right there. Come on, you can stay up for 2 more hours. Just push through. Look at all the trucks. Look at them. Let them keep you up. "90 minutes, dude. You stay up for 90 more minutes." All he has to do is stay up for 90 more minutes. Look at the sun. Let the sun get you up. Oh, no. I kinda cut off the Domino Pizza guy. Look at the sun, wherever the sun is. Fancy lads. Pretty sure, no, double line now. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to pass. Look at the sun, it's rising, it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, the most weavy town road in the world I'm in. Of course, if I'm gonna get tired, I'm gonna get tired on like a cliff. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope nothing bad's happening. Okay. What was that? Ooh, that was a nice old truck. These are all new places too, so I've actually never been here. A motel that I can't sleep at. Nice, nice. Nice bridge, looking nice water. Nice gas station. Chevron? Or no, oh, what's the one? The T one. I haven't seen that one in such a long time. Uh-oh, I'm getting tired again. Is this where I black out for a little bit? Nope, I'm good. Now, I know what everyone's gonna say is, there's a sleep thing right over there. And I'm like, yes. But I only have 32 minutes left. I think we can get through 32 minutes of no sleep. I hope we can get through 32 minutes of no sleep. Okay. This is the guy who's almost passed out a couple of times, like 15 minutes from home. So, my advice might not be the best on that. I guess the great thing is, we're not speeding, we're not going extremely fast, so theoretically if I pass out, everything should be fine, right? The only issue is returning a lot, which means head-to-head collision might be very high. Sleeping violation? How can I get a sleeping violation if I'm awake? How? I would love to know that logic there. No, I disagree. I'm pretty sure this game used to have it where you'd black out. And it would just let your car just like drift into the other lane and cause accidents and all sorts of stuff. Sleeping violation. truck in front of us wasn't so slow, we'd already be there. Oh my gosh. Fancy lads. Ooh, nice train. I love trains. I actually live near a train station right now, and it's not very often a industrial train ones, but consumer passenger trains go by all the time. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, I think we need to turn here. So after the yellow Hummel. Right around here. There we go. Let's see. We could try putting it in a building. Just go up the road some. Or no. We'll try the building. Or at least try it. It's right there, right? Yeah. Ooh, that's gonna be actually quite interesting. Those are some big dump trucks. Okay, so we actually... How am I getting sleeping violations? I really wish that worker would move the bulldozer, but hey. Because we have to somehow get it in. Nah, we're not. We're just gonna call it a day. I'm like, I don't know how we're supposed to do that. Oh my gosh, 1,166 miles. Okay, let's see what we can do now. We'll go mostly into valuables. We got about 30 minutes, so we need about a third of what we just did. That's even further. Nope, too far. Nevada. Oh no, can I? No. I was hoping I could click one and be like, I want to hit these towns. So that one's not too bad. I kind of want to hit the southern part of Nevada. Nope. Oh, they're all the same. Where am I starting? Las Vegas. I think that would be the best place to end this series. So, yes, we'll take that job. We'll end it LLA. Or not LA. LV. Las Vegas. Nevada. Paradise, some people say. What are we carrying? Nothing! Lovely. The cool thing is we're starting where we left off, so. Our truck was supposed to go there. That was a fun one. Ooh, I think we get to go into the tunnel. Tunnel driving. I didn't hit him. Oh, it's not actually a tunnel, it's like a little bridge. That sucks. I was really hoping for a tunnel. It's okay, I don't need to go anywhere, red car. Yeah, that's kind of more of how my house is with these like piles of rocks and stuff. Oh look, there's an active one. Yeah, there's an active one near my house too. It's actually not as loud as you'd expect. Because that's a huge one. This is why you don't look outside your window while driving, especially while around a bend. Tunnel! We get to do tunnel driving. Oh, I have a poor man's horn. You can tell this community all they do is rocks. Is that an actual mine over there? Oh, wow. That's really cool. I've never seen one in real life. Ooh, there's one on that side too. Ooh. I've actually never seen a quarry mine like that. That's really cool. I know there's like a toxic one in some like place in Europe or something where they were mining something that gets toxic for water and then somehow it got flooded and they couldn't mine it anymore. And somehow it doesn't have any drainage out, so it kind of just is a pool of toxin now. Wow, we went from rocks to trees like instantaneously right now. That's interesting. So, because I have to keep turning the wheels, I'm kind of more alert. Ooh, what's that sign say? Something area trail or something? Ooh, does that mean this side's gonna have like a lovely view or something? Oh, yes, it does. Whoopsie. Again, this is why you don't drive. This is why you pay attention to the road instead of the view. Keeping an eye on the road. Look at that view, though. Oh my gosh, look at that view. That's a beautiful view. This is kind of the place I would love to live. The only issue is a lot of communities out here don't have like access to internet and other things and are very isolated. Ooh, another lovely view. That's even lovelier, more lovelier than the last. Yeah, a lot of communities out here are very isolated, so like this one up here. And even though, yes, I would love to live in a community like that, I also know that that leads to a lot of old mindsets, and I don't mix well with old mindsets. I am very innovative and very new, and I guess people could say progressive mindseted. So it's a tough one. But I do love the area. Ooh, that's a lake. And there's boards and other things. If I wasn't streaming, I would stop at that rest area. I wish there was a way to get out of the vehicle. I actually know somebody from Las Vegas. If I haven't not talked to them in a while, I would have sent them this link and be like, hey, is this actually how it is? Because this isn't bad. Not empty and out there, but other than that, not too bad. Nice little church right there. Now this is gonna take forever. Luckily, the game heard me and was like, oh no, we gotta speed this up. I remember one of the first times I did this stream, we were at one of the like overhead passages for the highway. You can bypass. Yay, I can bypass because I got nothing. We'll do the proper bypass too. Dang it. Of course. When I'm like, we'll do the proper bypass, I cut it short and crash it. I'm empty. I can bypass you. Ooh, a dust plane. That was cool. See? Empty! I can bypass. I did not yield for that whatsoever. Another dust plane. My dash is like glitchy. Scenic view. Oh, look at the scenic view. Dust plane. Whee. Oopsie, I probably wanted you to tell me something. What's that? Like an old silo or metal barn or something crash. Where's Roswell? Roswell, Nevada? Is Roswell in Nevada? I wonder if you go to Roswell if they have like a little gimmicky, like UFO crash site or something. I'd much rather go up to the light, but okay, if you want me to pour in here. I feel like going up to the light and waiting would be a little bit more efficient, but I don't know. I mean, I guess we get to see a substation. High current voltage going into low current voltage. I love the open space. The open space is so nice. Uh-oh. What do we got here? A car that overheated? Ooh, no, a car that hit a single guardrail. Talk about the dumb luck you could have. Just driving out in the middle of the desert. Oh no, a guardrail! Right in behind this Mustang. Yeah, he must have like an explosive or something. Flashy light, flashy light, flashy light, flashy light. Seems like I'm going to be doing something weird and I'm going to want to be in this lane. It looks like I need to go straight and then turn for whatever reason, so... Oh, that was an accident we just witnessed. A yellow and red car merged. This is going to be interesting. I think I need to go across that bridge, but how the thing looks is it looks very strange how I get there. Yeah, this is an extremely strange junction. It's like a highway goes underneath another and then starts turning to parallel that highway. And then on one side of it is a junction off. Oh, really? Another fun story about me driving, or I guess in a vehicle. Fun story about me being in a vehicle. I was in a vehicle with a buddy of mine heading to a trivia night. And we stopped and his car started acting up, so he turned it on and turned it back on. Or turned it off and turned it back on. And when he turned it back on, it wouldn't... Woo! A black car came out from nowhere. When he turned it back on, it wouldn't start up. So we were literally at the front of the intersection with a disabled vehicle. Not the funnest of nights. It was interesting, but not a fun night. Okay, so we're at the 750 mark, so I'm just gonna put a little ending reminder to anyone who's still here. So I will not be doing any live streams from this point forward until YouTube can figure out what is child friendly or kid friendly or not, to protect me from the various legal issues that could arise. Because I thought I was going to be safe if I just marked everything as not. And then if it is definitely it, I'll mark it down. But from the looks of it, they're putting it on either way. If you overmark it or undermark it, you're going to get in trouble. Which makes it really hard to mark anything. So I'm kind of doing it hands off. I'm not going to touch that mess. So I'm going to go through all my videos for the next month and a half and then sort out what's kid friendly or what's kid friendly and what's not. And then from that point onwards, I'm just going to listen to the news, watch YouTube, and see if the heat goes down. Because I know the first few people who get hit are going to get hit hard. They're going to go through like their entire channel and find all the stuff that's mismarked, and it's going to be a disaster. So I hope to be back. I do hope to be back because I think I will miss YouTube. I will miss doing this. The only issue is I want to do this in the most legal and not costly way for me. So hopefully we can do that. What's this sign? I don't know, it's so pixelated. And again, if you have any questions about me or the issue or any of that, just ask and I will gladly help. Right now we're running out of fuel, so like my YouTube career right now, I might just stop in the middle of nowhere and walk down the highway until I can get some gas, and then walk back, refuel, and recollect myself. Arizona now. There's a sleep center nearby, and a mechanic center, but I don't see any gas there. No sleep center. Nope, I don't see any gas. Just sleep and engineering. Ah, dang it, there was gas. Oh, but there's a little jet off road here. We'll jet off here and get some gas. There's a lot of things here, actually. But the 24-hour gas is what we are looking at. What are some of the prices? 301 it looks like, or 331? I think it's 331. No, it looks like it's 301. Okay, whenever this traffic light wants to go green. Yeah, it's 3:01. That's not bad. Okay, let's see how many gallons this baby has. Wow, this actually didn't have that many gallons to begin with. I'm just gonna follow the street signs. I just need to enter this little disaster here. I should have went the other way. Sometimes the navigation is the best. Let's see, can I squeeze in front of this red truck though? Nope, it doesn't look like he's gonna let me. Okay, that brown car decided to go on a suicide mission to try to squeeze its place, so we're just gonna squeeze in front of it. Here's a nice little skate park. Look at them going skating and all that stuff. Do an ollie. He did an ollie. I don't know what an ollie is, but he did it. He's gonna do it again. Woof, woof. Whoop. And back down. Woof, woof. With how many times we've crossed over train tracks, I'm actually surprised we haven't seen a train. Los Angeles, here we come. Okay, stop hitting brakes, hit gas. anyone who's watching this, I don't care what you think about my channel or anything like that, but if you are coming onto a highway, don't hit your brakes. Unless there's an obvious danger or threat to you, do not hit your brakes coming onto a highway. Whoopsie. I thought that truck was going to be out of the way by the time I poured in. Poured in a little too soon. This game makes me miss California area. My engine is just slowly dying in this truck. That's all that dry heat does. Almost got this thing up to 90 miles per hour. I'm right now trying to pull back the time that we arrive. We're in Arizona. Ooh. Again, I don't know what it's trying to represent with that type of crash. I'm guessing like a broken axle or something. Are we actually going to go on historic Route 66? Oh, I think we're going to go on Route 66, guys. That's cool. In the back of my mind, I was wondering if it was actually possible to go on Route 66. I don't know if we're on Route 66. Well, there goes my alarm. So 10 minutes over stream right now. Whoopsies. Put off a little too far off the side of the road. What does this sign say up ahead? Oh, that's just a leasing place. No, it looks like we're on Route 93. That sucks. I thought we were going to hit Route 66. I was like, ooh, exciting. Storage. Yeah, we're on Route 93. Dang it. That's not exciting. We're about an hour out of LA, or Las Vegas. Is that the dam? Is that Hoover? No. That's not Hoover. What dam's near LA? Or Las Vegas? I don't know off the top of my head. I know we're getting there. 30 minutes, guys. There's the iconic sign. Look at it. Do 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 do. We made it. Look at that sign. Whoop whoop. Las Vegas, Nevada. Hopefully we can go down like the strip or something. Something well known for. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's just gonna be normal places. Yeah, I don't see any like pyramids or just, actually no, it's in front of us. Ooh, do you guys wanna try to get there? Do you guys want to try to get to the pyramids in the strip? Yes, no, maybe so. You only got a few quick seconds. Okay, no one's responding, so I'm gonna go, that's a no. It's like right over there. We could try to get there if you guys wanted. Now I feel like I'm in a normal city like New York or something. A lot of traffic on all sides and buildings all around. Yes, Las Vegas is very similar to New York in that sense. Oh, there they are. Look at that. Right over there. Whoopsie. I don't care. I think that's as close as we're going to get to that. Like, that's as close as I think I'll ever be that. I'm sorry, dude. There it is. Look, there's the sky tower or whatever. The sky pin thing. Oh, that was all drawn. This doesn't seem good. We're just gonna try it. We're gonna see where it takes us. Awesome, there is a way off this road that way. Okay, cool. Right. Now the hard thing is we have to get all the way over. But that's not too bad. You know what? I bet we could get on the strip. I think I'm gonna try that instead. I know how illegal all this is. But I just want to see if we can do it. Nah, it doesn't look like we're able. Yeah, maybe. It all cars pointing off of that road. But from the looks of it, it looks like that road's not accessible to us. Which, that sucks if that's the case. Kinda needed to be in the other lane, but hey. Luckily that car's gonna stop traffic for me. Nope, can't get to it. That sucks. Oh, this game sucks for that. It teases us. Oh, that's a tease. Oh, that's a tease. That's such a tease. You can't model the skyline and then go, yeah, but we're not going to let you actually get to it. Like, that's so wrong. No, we'll drop this off and then end the stream. Come on. You just gotta get there. That's all you have to do. Almost there. Well, we did it, guys. Another year on YouTube. Who knows what next year will bring. But this is the end of this year for now. Hopefully YouTube sorts itself out and I will continue. But if not, well, we had fun. We enjoyed what we had. And hopefully we all can do it again later. Dang it, we had it. There we go. And there we go. So, hopefully I'll see you all again at a later date. But for now, bye-bye. You've all been great. Hopefully, again, we can do it another time.